Let's do it.
So Brock, you don't own a honey badger. I don't own a honey badger. And that's why we're here today to talk about the honey badger. I mean, I've shot one. Have you shot one?
Yeah.
Okay. I think a lot of us, we covet a honey badger because it's very cool looking. It's expensive, so that automatically makes it cool. And it has some special ops cachet, maybe?
I think the term is pedigree.
Pedigree, does have some pedigree. I don't know where the evidence of that pedigree is, but perhaps the absence of evidence is all the evidence you need. I have cloned the honey badger several times, and each clone gets cheaper and shittier than the last one. And yet, I still feel like what I end up with is basically the same thing and shoots about as well. And then you have a honey badger alternative.
Yeah, this is a Wolfpack Armory hyena. It's incredibly similar. It's a hair larger, but it has all of the exact same kind of concepts.
So the honey badger is super short, 300 blackout, PDW style gun. And honestly, when I look at just the features on paper, I don't see where the money goes. You know, like the price tag is really high. I feel like some people like that, like a clear anodizing look. I don't particularly care for it.
It's weird,
so
isn't
I'm like,
it?
yeah, you're not
It's very
even getting a gorgeous gun, in my opinion. You're getting kind of a goofy looking gun that's got some charm. But like what the features are, they tout them in a really spectacular way. Like they talk about their adjustable gas block as being some super hot shit, but it's just a set screw adjustable gas block, which is the worst kind.
Carbon locks immediately.
Infinite adjustment means you have no idea where you are and you have to continually fine tune it. And also the screws like to walk out. Meanwhile, that has a rifle speed gas block, which is, I would say, easily the best adjustable gas block that has ever been made.
Yeah. Yeah, it works out pretty well, other than the fact that it doesn't play nice with AAC ammo, seemingly, where AAC ammo likes to shred jackets into the gas tube itself, causing the mechanism to kind of bind up completely.
The way I always see honey badgers set up, or almost always see them set up, is basically set to run exclusively suppressed. And so the solution that I've got on my build, I had a build called the Broke Badger, which is based on the same receiver set. That was a 300 blackout. Then I've made it even worse by rebarreling it for 5.56. So this is now an 8-inch barreled 5.56 gun, which I know is kind of useless, but there is a 5.56 honey badger. So, I'm working from precedent here. And I also was like, okay, I'm going to shoot this thing exclusively suppressed. Why not? Because I'm going to try to destroy this suppressor, also made by Wolfpack, incidentally.
Which is funny, because the Wolfpack suppressor is not on the Wolfpack gun.
Yep.
We really fucked that up.
Well, it's not too bad. Also, the colors are all mismatching. Autism. So my solution for adjusting the gas, it was not a $200 rifle speed gas block. It was not a $100, adjustable set screw style or whatever gas block. Mine is a $20 YHM, $18 actually, exclusively suppressed gas block, and then a direct thread suppressor. So nothing to tune, nothing to break, nothing to carbon lock, just a dead simple $18 part. And now I'm tuned to run exclusively suppressed. And it turns out, I thought I'd have to buffer this up more. I had an H3 in there and it was like running really sluggish, so I dropped it down to a regular H. This thing actually shoots pretty good for a total piece of shit.
So you don't really have to worry about the 300 blackout honey badger problem, which is supers and subsonics, which the whole point of the honey badger, I think at least, is that kind of special operations mission set of where you're going to run it with subs and then shit goes tits up and you switch to supers, which is just a nightmare to deal with gassing wise, because I don't think there exists, just by the very nature of it, subsonic ammunition, 300 blackout that is, that works in a gun that can also shoot supersonics without the supersonics feeling kind of heinous and horrible with a suppressor.
Yeah, so I think that, the set screw adjustable gas block on a honey badger means you're going to have to either tune it exclusively suppressed subs or supers, you're going to have to pick your poison, or you're going to have to try to find some nice middle ground, which means it's going to run hard as hell with supers. Rifle speed definitely solves that problem. And then if you're going to do the 5.56 honey badger, doesn't matter at that point, and then my shithouse rat clone build becomes a complete non-issue, just continuing to be a little bit cheaper instead of using the proprietary. This is like a proprietary buffer system. It's
a bit annoying,
shorter,
yeah.
But this is an SBA 3, and I've tried a couple of those CQB style stock.
Oh, you hate them all.
And they're all fine, but then I put them side by side with an SBA 3 and they're the same length collapsed. And then I'm like, well, then what am I even doing here? So save a ton of money by just using a standard carbine tube and an SBA 3. And it really, we're not talking about the difference between a folding gun and a non-folding gun. We're talking about the difference between a relatively short stock and a fairly short stock. 6 of one, half dozens, as you would say.
6 dozen, half dozen of the other 6.
Total cost on a Hyena it's a fairly expensive
It's
AR.
about 17,
Yeah,
right?
it's about $1,700 or something like that. So half price of a Honey Badger.
Yeah, a lot of that cost is the Honey Badger-esque SB brace and the $200 rifle speed, and then plus the Cerakote job. So you're spending like a good chunk of this rifle putting on very specific accoutrements. Because if you remove those and you look at their regular versions of their rifles, they're a good bit cheaper. So I think it's just, they don't make this, they don't make that. They have to buy it basically at retail, so.
And then, yeah, this total kit, the Shithouse Rat kit build, I mean, a lot of this stuff, the receiver set I've had for probably 10 years, and it's been on a ton of builds, and it's been on a lot of content. So I feel like that was free, basically paid for itself.
Oh, girl math.
Yeah, girl math in it. And this handguard I recycled for something else. So really all I had to do was buy an 8-inch BA barrel. And so that's like that plus a gas block and a suppressor adapter for direct thread. I think I'm into this for like $250 by girl math standards.
Okay, so $250, $1,700.
Versus, you know, $3K for
$3K for a
real
Honey
Honey Badger. So some Q products I think have a higher standard of like engineering and innovation. The Honey Badger also is one of their oldest products, right? It's like it's
what
originally
made
it was an AAC.
ACC, yep.
It predates the company itself. So some Q stuff, I think you and I took a peek inside a boombox. We talked to one of the guys who worked on that, and there's some clever stuff going on in the boombox. I don't see much clever stuff happening in the Honey Badger compared to where the industry is at now with stuff like, you know, the rifle speed and the fact that you can get braces and stocks like that basically anywhere.
Because you really do want to adjust 300 blackout if you're running supers and subs. Like
Absolutely.
in a field environment, you're going to have it tuned for subs, and then you're just going to take the gas to the face if shit goes tits up, and you're going to run supers. But in terms of just longevity, I destroyed my PWS in about 1,800 rounds with the logic of I'm going to run it on supers and subs, and I'm going to have it tuned for subs the whole time. And at about 1,500 rounds, the rifle started killing itself. Or it was already...
It started to fall apart.
It became obvious, such the firing pin hole, whatever you want to call it, and the bolt was so enlarged that the firing pin was pushing too far forward and punching out primers. The reliability just went down into the gutter. And the gun basically destroyed itself, so much so when I sent it in, they were like, yeah, what the fuck, dude? And they put a whole new barrel and gas system in.
Q does some pretty clever stuff, and then that reputation gets applied across the board to everything that they make. But you see things like their new Southpaw suppressor. Otter Creek bought one, cut it in half, and we're like, oh, look, this suppressor is less technologically advanced than, you know, a Yankee Hill turbo or resonator, you know, which are not new cans, which are not fancy technology. You know, they're basically just a series of K baffles and then one perforated blast baffle. The Q Southpaw doesn't even have a blast baffle. It's just a stack of triangles, and then, you know, guess what? You can get that from almost anybody for half the price with better build quality. So that doesn't live up to their reputation for like engineering and creativity. You know,
The best trigger in the world might not be the best trigger.
Every time I pull the trigger on one of those, I'm like, this is not good. I don't like this at all. I don't know where the best trigger in the world comes from. I wouldn't even say it's as good as a Schmid 2 stage.
It's just a very light trigger. I think people get confused with triggers being light with triggers being good. I do respect the whole, you know, you can make a rifle 90% of the way there, 80% of the way there, and it's going to cost, say, $1,000. And to go that last 10%, it's going to cost another $2,000. And I think that's a lot of the philosophy with Q. The issue is that 10% on the Honey Badger, in my opinion, is not doing all that much in terms of cost or whatever. You see what I'm getting at. Like I said, like you said, it's a legacy product at this point that might have been kind of cool back then, but back then was 15 years ago. I mean, when you think about it, 300 Blackout is an AAC project, and they needed a gun to really spearhead 300 Blackout as a concept with supers and subs. That configuration of use case had not really been existed before that point. It sort of has, but that was really where that kind of kicked it off. So the Honey Badger is the 300 Blackout gun, or was the 300 Blackout gun, but that ship has sailed a long time ago.
In current year, you didn't tell me what the prices were, and you showed me that next to a Honey Badger. I'd be like, wow, this thing is like space magic compared to this.
Yeah, why does the Honey Badger have this weird proprietary rail? Is this like some 2011 rail system? And it's like, no, it's Q cert.
Why don't the paint colors match? Is it that hard? Well, But yeah, and then you told me the prices, and I would probably combust. We forgot to talk about Kevin Brittingham.
That's okay. He talks about himself plenty.
Yeah, you're right.